Hello, everybody. Welcome to our show. My name is Joseph Mbele. I'm from Tanzania. I teach at St. Olaf College. I've been there 33 years. And I have a YouTube channel. Today I have a guest that has appeared on the show a number of times. She's a very distinguished guest. She's a writer, and I'm very happy to have her again today. I'll let her say a few words to introduce herself, and then we'll continue with the show. So, please.
Hello, everybody. As it's becoming a cliche now, I'm
Yeah.
Lulu Kililuck. This is my mentor, and so we just like to touch on topics that are like current event. We don't prepare for the show though.
No, we don't.
Yes, so
we
go on a mind searching journey each time we have to put up a show. So it's more authentic. It's more revealing of our own opinions about things. Not necessarily that because we think so the things are right or are wrong, but we each have a right to our own opinion. So, and we like to express it, and we feel happy expressing it because there are many people who are also listening and watching, and also we are learning both from our listeners and from each other.
We just want to be natural and expressing ideas without a lot of reflection beforehand. We want it to be very natural, conversational, expressing our sentiments, our perspectives, which may change when we come again on another show.
When we learn more.
When we learn more. Absolutely. So we encourage you to participate in the conversation. Leave your comments in the comments section. Let's have a conversation. There are many issues that we need to address, and we just decided to come out and be the ones initiating the conversations. So, by the way, Lulu is from Cameroon. She forgot to say that. We are both Africans and very proud of our background, our identity. And on these shows, we come out as, proud Africans. Absolutely. So today we thought we should talk about an event that we both attended.
Yes.
Was it a week ago, a week and a half ago?
A week ago, last Saturday.
Right here in Minneapolis. No, Brooklyn Park.
Brooklyn Park, yes.
Brooklyn Park, a city adjacent to Minneapolis. So there was this event organized by the Global Fatherhood Foundation.
Yes.
At least the Minnesota branch or the Brooklyn Park branch of that Global Fatherhood Foundation. We have not figured out the exact details of this Global Fatherhood Foundation. I attended an event by them, last year and then this year.
This year was in a commemoration of International Men's Day.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. International Men's Day.
Yes, where men are celebrating men.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so I told you, hey, there's this thing going on, would you be able to come? And you came, and that was nice. We had a table, we displayed our books, which was great, because we want to let the community know, the thoughts we have as we have expressed them in our books. Fortunately, Lulu has just published a book. We can see it over there. It's called Candy of Freedom. So it was an opportunity to, display it to the public.
Yes.
I think you had some interesting people coming.
Oh yes, there were many people who were interested.
Yeah.
Because it's in a way the book touches a lot on mental health.
Yeah.
And parenting.
Yeah, and you really have some real insights into the roles of men.
Yes.
Historically and up to the present, and where you want those roles to go. The direction you want us to go. Especially in the book that's coming next.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was good we attended that event, and I'm thinking in the future they will need to have you as a speaker. Yeah.
Hopefully, I would be grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what I learned from that event also is like there's a lot that's going on with men.
Yeah.
That we women do not even understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just as we look at men that they don't understand us.
Yeah.
This is what I also learned, that there's a lot going on with men that we do not understand.
Yeah.
And we need this opportunity to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And just understand what is going on with each other and why we each go through the struggle, the personal struggles that we go through.
Yeah. And the conditioning, as you call it, has really, really caused a lot of damage.
Yes.
On both sides.
On both sides, yes.
Yeah, that's the good thing about your perspective. You look at what, has happened on both sides.
Yes.
If you're talking about problems, weaknesses, you again see this on both sides.
On both sides, yes.
Yeah, that's the good thing about your perspective. Yes. Yeah. And so people gave talks. There was a panel that day. There was a panel, and the men who were speaking, it was all men.
Yes.
The men who were speaking, they gave their personal accounts of their personal experience as fathers, as men, as husbands. The roles, they've been playing, challenges they've encountered. Now, there's one thing that I wanted to mention here, which I found striking. I mean, it was not the first time I'm hearing this. No, here in the US, I've heard this thing before, and I thought we could talk about that. The idea that it's not a good idea that boys or men are taught, not to show emotions, not to cry, for example. And they were saying that studies show that it's healthy, it's necessary for men to acknowledge and express their vulnerability, show emotion, even cry. And at that point, I think I laughed.
Yes.
Because I was brought up.
I remember you made a comment.
Exactly. Exactly. You know where I'm coming from.
Yes.
From my cultural point of view, we men are not supposed to cry. The very idea of a man crying is really very... I don't want to trivialize the pain that people feel. But the idea of crying, no, it doesn't sit well with me. It's even amusing.
When you say it, you say it that way, it amuses me because this is example of what we call conditioning.
Exactly.
And this is what we explain sometimes. People think that women just want men who are strong. I don't want a strong man. I want a man who is able to show his emotions too. That way you will communicate at a better level in that relationship.
Yeah.
When you keep you're thinking like, oh, it's not okay for you to show emotions, then you are actually even diminishing your own humanity, because that is a natural part of you. You came with that package. So why is your culture stifling that package?
Yeah. And that is exactly the issue. I'm glad you elaborating on it. And I wanted us to really address this.
Yes.
Here in the USA, I have heard experts say this, that it's healthy to cry. And because of my conditioning, which you know very well as an African, and it is actually around the world.
Yes, like the strong man myth, like men have to be
even
strong.
If you are hurting, You're supposed to not show it, not to act publicly that, you know, you are really, you know, weak and miserable.
Yeah, and for me, not showing it just festers. And boils up into other things. It shows up itself in aggression, violent behaviors, in other ways, because you are trying to control, and even extreme control. It's about you not being able to show that emotion, and you want to control everything around you. So everything around you should bow down to you in order for you to be quiet.
Unfortunately,
which doesn't work that way.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are those very negative consequences, and I guess generally the men have not thought about it. They are not even aware that they are behaving this way, and that the root cause of this behavior is that suppression.
Yes.
You know, of emotions that need to be expressed.
Yes.
But on the other hand, if I go a bit deeper into what I mean or how it works for me, controlling myself that way, showing emotion is a great idea, but which emotions? Which emotions? It's a great idea. I guess what I was talking about is weakness, the kind of weakness that makes somebody cry, the kind of vulnerability that makes them shed tears. That's the part I find so hard to grasp or even to embrace. I don't think I'll start crying after this conversation.
Oh
no,
it
will not happen.
I know it will not come like that overnight.
Exactly.
But this is the problem about the definition of masculinity that is actually very destructive. You might not, as a man, you might think you're doing your best to hide that emotion. But you do not realize that what you're doing, the people around you are observing it. The energy that you carry by hiding that emotion inside, it actually exerts itself out. It's reflecting, the people are seeing that energy. And when you see people just not running away from you or not caring about discussing very deep topics with you, it's because they realize that you are shallow in that aspect. You understand? You might have a child at home who has something really serious to talk to you about, but because you have already built that wall, they will not talk to you about it, but they would have loved to talk to you about it. But not being able to show that emotions actually takes away your ability to be compassionate.
Well, I see it differently. Let me explain.
You think you're being strong, but you're not strong. You have to ask yourself, how does it affect the people around you being a strong man?
Okay, let's keep that in mind.
Yes.
Let's keep that in mind. We can come back to it. Let's keep that in mind. It's a very important point.
Yes.
But let me say something else, to, make the basket a bit more, balanced. It is this way. Traditionally, maybe that's where we got this whole idea of men should not cry. Maybe. Traditionally, the men were the people, defending the family. If there's danger, they all think the men should go out and fight. Yes, even in the village, if there was a lion, it was the men who go out. So the men were conditioned to have not just the appearance of being, there for everybody and being strong, but if they didn't have that, imagine the effect. Children, the family is facing some danger out there. The village is facing danger, and the men are crying. That will really destroy.
Oh my God.
Think about it.
Oh my God.
I think the family, the kids are so happy. Oh, the father is here. Father is going to take care of that lion. But if the father shows weakness, I think that would be devastating.
What do you mean by shows weakness? This is very interesting.
Yeah, I thought so.
Being a protector of your family does not mean you should not show emotions. Showing emotions also is part of protecting your family.
Yeah.
If you go out there and your left arm is beaten off by that lion,
yeah.
Would you come back and say, oh, that is so sweet, that was very nice? Would you do that?
First of all, I accept it's important for men to be able to show emotions.
Yes.
It's only a matter of which emotions. For example, I think it's important for the men, if they are a father, to really show love for the family, love for the kids, love for their spouse. That kind of emotion, I think, is necessary. And if men are not showing that, even to the kids, and unfortunately, if you look at the novel Things Fall Apart, for example,
Okonkwo, yes.
the kids are terrified. The wives are terrified. That's not what I'm advocating. I think when he's at home, the children should be happy. He would be telling stories. That is what I would like to happen. Not the Okonkwo type of manhood. Where everybody's fearful.
In my opinion, when you don't show emotions,
yeah,
everything that you do after that, even in the name of love, is performative.
Oh.
It's just simple. It's a performance that you're putting on. And people see through that performance.
Wow.
That's the problem, that when you to be a strong man, I know, I understand where you're coming from with your image, like you have to be tough. Let me tell you, my paternal tribe is matrilineal. The warriors were women. They were not men.
Yeah.
But those women raised children, they farmed, they did everything. They cried. But when it was time for battle, they took up their spears and everything and went in for battle. That showing emotion doesn't stop you from protecting your family. I think it even gives you wisdom on how to do it.
Wow. Yeah. Again, as I say, it really depends on what kind of emotion. You know what? We do feel, for example, sadness. There are many moments when we have sadness. For example, we hear some bad news, somebody passed away. We are really, really sad. Oh, absolutely sad. Completely.
Yes. But do you show it?
Only we don't cry. That is the part that I think I was trying to highlight. The idea of me shedding tears, for example, that is the part I find really difficult. Maybe impossible.
No, it's not impossible. You can change your mindset and get out of that mindset.
And start shedding tears?
Yes, there's nothing wrong with shedding tears.
Oh, Lord.
It is a natural system that it's there for you as a human being to relieve yourself of overburden. When you have be overburdened with emotions. Let me just ask you. When somebody dies and you don't cry, you bottle it in up there, what happens? Did you think you are actually at peace with yourself, bottling up that emotions in there?
What happens with us men, so we are at the funeral, we are sad, we are grieving, we are grieving. Yes, absolutely, we are grieving. We don't have hearts of stone, but it doesn't translate into tears flowing, not necessarily. Again, I'm not talking about all men.
I understand.
Absolutely no.
I think this is our own opinion and what we are expressing. Because look,
and
when the tears don't flow.
In fact, I will. Okay, go ahead.
When the tears don't flow. You are absolutely killing yourself.
Wow.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
You're killing yourself.
Okay.
Go and see how many men are going around with high blood pressure. What do you think that bottling of emotions, where do you think it ends up? It shows up itself somewhere else.
Okay.
Look at the for example, in Minnesota, the statistics on violent crimes for 2023. Women are at like 1,000. About 1,800 that were convicted for violent crimes. But men are at 14,000. Look at the disparity and ask yourself. When we cry, you're like, oh, you people are emotional, you are hysterical. Yes, because it relieves us of that pain. We don't carry that pain along with us. That is your natural mechanism of dealing with that. And when you refuse yourself from being a human being, what do you become? An automated machine.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Actually, this is a very interesting complication now. Yeah. The men that I know, you know, the kindest people you can even imagine.
Yes.
But they are still, like I'm saying, we don't shed tears. But they are very kind and generous. They are fun to be with, you know, and they are just very nice people. Only the crying part, which is being advocated as something we need to embrace.
So,
in my case, for example, I have to confess, I do have moments when I shed tears. You'll be surprised what moments those are. Say, I'm reading a story of somebody who, say, a young little girl, you know, who performs very well in a sports competition, and she's unbeatable, and all kinds of things. The extraordinariness of the achievement. I watch those kinds of shows and I do see tears of joy. For me, it's tears of, I do have tears of joy coming out instinctively. But not the tears out of sadness. So I don't know how to deal with this. I don't shed tears of sadness, but they are tears of joy.
Conditioning. If the tears of joy can come out,
they do.
Then the tears of sadness can come out. They come out through the same gland. They don't come out from different glands.
Yeah.
Look at when you have the tears of joy coming, if you're not holding back.
Yeah. No.
But when you have the tears of sadness attempting to come in, you're holding back, you're pressuring yourself. I cannot cry in this. You are you're having that internal dialogue, cautioning yourself not to do it.
Yeah. Actually, you have made a very good point here. When those tears of happiness, of excitement, admiration come out, they really flow. And I look around and I'm very embarrassed. That I hope nobody's seeing me, because I'm watching the screen. You know, it might be, you know, on YouTube or someplace. I'm in my office, and then I do see tears. I actually instinctively look around. Is anybody seeing me? Because they will wonder why, you know, I'm crying. They will think I'm crying. Maybe it's crying.
It's crying.
It is crying for joy.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So I hope people listening to us will be provoked to comment on this, because that's one thing that came out of that meeting, that panel discussion.
Yes.
That it's time men should think about, you know, acknowledging and expressing, you know, those basic, you know, emotions, weaknesses.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, when I hear people encouraging men to cry, I think it's maybe I'll change my mind, you know, if we keep
if
talking like
if
this,
we keep talking about it, and you start knowing the benefits of actually not why do you think crying is bad? Because somebody told you so.
It is very possible.
Because somebody told you so.
Yeah, it's very possible. Yeah.
So you are actually living somebody else's experience and somebody else's wish for you.
Yeah. And let me add something that comes out of my my teaching. I teach, you know, literature. I teach a subject called folklore, you know, the traditional stories from different nations.
Yes.
I look at the stories of great heroes. There's celebrated warriors and great heroes from ancient Greece, for example. Yes, the Iliad, you know, that big poem. And there's another one from, you know, Mesopotamia, the Sumerian Empire. The great hero, you know, Gilgamesh. His name is Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh, yes.
These are great heroes.
Lord Gilgamesh,
exactly, powerful. But guess what? There are moments in the story when they cry. And it says categorically, Gilgamesh wept because his friend had passed away, crying like that. The same with the ancient Greeks. So because of this conversation, first of all, I do tell my students, look at these great heroes. They are crying. And I tell them, I have not seen stories like this, say, in the African traditions where the folk tales, of men crying. And so I raise this issue with my students. So the point I want to make is, what happened in between those ancient civilizations and me today, where I feel I shouldn't cry, because it's very weird, It appears that once upon a time, it was okay for the brave men to cry. That's why we have Gilgamesh, So it's a question for me to think about, of men to think about. Where did we lose this?
Yes.
This ability, this readiness to just cry.
When masculinity became defined as strong, you don't show emotions, and it's all about dominance, power, glory, all of those things that in reality no single human being can inhabit in themselves. Which means when you think you have that much power over people, at the end of the day you realize that you don't have power over people. It's a perception of power that you have. You don't. Because if you, for example, if you spank me right now, trust me, you have no clue what my reaction will be. Absolutely no clue. So you don't have any power over me to define my reaction. Because you might spank me and I give you a big whooping. You understand?
Yeah.
So when we start realizing that all these performative aspects of our culture that really has nothing to do with us and our relationship with other people, when we start looking into them, we will start adjusting and see how much unhappiness and destruction it has caused us in our own personal lives. Yes. Because if you think that you have to hold that emotion and don't express it and think that it goes away, it doesn't go away. It will manifest itself somewhere else in another form, and usually it's always in a violent form, aggressive form, abusive form. It is really not about it. It doesn't go away.
I like the way you put it, that suppressing it will make it manifest itself in some other way, which might not be healthy.
Yes.
Yeah. And I would like myself and maybe our listeners to really think about that. The potentially destructive consequences of suppressing. I don't know the answers, but I guess I see your point. As long as that energy is there, it will find a way to come out.
Yes.
Yeah. It may be a positive or negative way, destructive.
But it's really positive because it is a battle.
It is a battle, yeah.
Yes, so it will not come out. Even if you intend to be positive with that energy, it's difficult for that energy to come out in a positive way. And this is what this upcoming book actually touches a lot on this topic.
Yes.
And how destructive it is for men and women.
Yeah.
We are two people who share the same space. We share kids. We share the same lives. There's a lot in common that we share.
Yeah.
But we actually behave like two ships passing in the dark.
Yeah.
We go past each other in everything that we do, and we go to the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Why is all of this? Is this conditioning?
Yeah.
While you are told to be strong, me as a woman, I'm told to be weak.
Yeah.
If you're, I can discuss with you right now the way we talk because we are free with each other.
Yeah.
But imagine if we are in a communal meeting and the men are talking, how many women are allowed to speak? Even the most intelligent woman is not even allowed to express herself.
Yeah.
In some societies, like in the Muslim societies, for example, your husband has to give you the express permission to express yourself. So men, by not showing emotion, keeps them on that constant level of control, which is just not worth it for the men. It's not worth it to be at that level continuously in your life. And even the women going back home and crying that something happened. Also, yes, crying is okay, but it doesn't solve the problem too. It just relieves the tension inside of you, but it doesn't. So there is a way that we need to be able to express how destructive our culture has been on both men and women. It's not exclusive to men, it's not exclusive to women. It is destructive to both, but at different levels and at different polarities. Yes. So we are always bypassing each other. So even if I tell you now for the next 10 years that you should cry, because of my own conditioning, I know the benefits of crying. But because of your own conditioning, you see crying as weakness.
And very unfortunately.
So the next 10 years, I will be pushing you to cry, but you will never see, you will not see it in the same eyes as I do. And unless you make the change from within you.
Exactly. So we need a lot of education on both sides. And the women, because they've been conditioned, like you say, in the same negative ways, if they start seeing men crying, imagine how the women will feel. They also need to embrace this notion that it's okay for men to cry, because they are not yet prepared for that.
They are not prepared. They are not taught how to.
Exactly.
So in most cases, when women have been taught in most cases that men are just performers. Especially when it comes to emotional issues. Because you don't show emotion, the way you come across to us most of the time is performative. So sometimes when a man is crying, in your head you're like, I know this hurts, but what is the performance? You sympathize with the man, but you know, if you even try to sympathize more with the man, that same man that you're trying to sympathize more with will be the same person who will turn and insult you. For even trying to be in that space when he's trying to cry.
Wow, that's very deep.
So what would the woman do? You can watch your son, your husband, or whoever crying. You sympathize with them, but you just have to leave them alone to perform their strongman stuff.
Wow. Wow. That is really something.
So that's why the communication is really for men to understand also that not showing emotion it doesn't matter how kind you are. It always comes across as performative.
Wow. So that's one issue that really stuck with me, that struck me also when we were in that space listening to the conversations. Other than that, I thought it was a good idea that people did push, issues such as being a role model. As a man, you are in a position to be a role model, and so what should that entail? What should we want our daughters, our boys, to see? Would that be also another performative thing when you are consciously trying to be a good role model? I was asking when the men in that gathering were saying we should be role models. I'm asking I'm wondering, I'm not necessarily asking, I'm just raising this issue, whether consciously trying to be a role model, whether that's also performative, or whether I don't even know. It becomes quite a dilemma now. If we want...
No, not necessarily. You know why those men, for me, were very authentic? Because they are people who have gone through a lot of stuff. They were able to publicly acknowledge their pain. And genuinely acknowledge their pain and the consequences of that pain. Even the person who said they went to jail for that. You understand? So at that point, to me, these are people who have learned their lessons of not being able to show emotions. And they're simply telling other men, wake up. Wake up.
Okay.
We need to wake up.
Yeah. 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 Again, one of the things I would like to say is, as humans, we are not always, very rational or whatever. We don't always follow rules. Sometimes our feelings take over, and once you subject them to intellectual analysis, you will find, oh, it didn't make sense here, it didn't make sense there. So we need to give room to that fact that no matter how much we theorize and plan and agree on what's the right thing to do, at the end of the day, we are not just very rational, wholly rational all the time. Some things are just, matters of emotion, like we have said here.
No,
and irrational. Some things are irrational. For example,
who defines something as rational or irrational?
That's the thing.
It's us.
It's us again, yeah.
It's still us.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
For me, I look at it more like, what is it there in you, your innate self?
Yeah.
The natural you that comes out.
Yeah.
Without being checked at the door by your culture.
That's the thing.
You understand? Without being checked.
Yeah.
So for me, that is what I look at. If I'm asked to do something that I know people do it as part of our culture, I always have to think like, how do I feel after doing this?
Yeah.
What does it make me feel? What's the end game?
Yeah.
And if I don't feel good, and if I don't think it will be a good idea for me, I will not do it. That is what is rational for me. Not to do it. But what will happen to other people is that because society thinks that they should do it, everybody must dance in a particular way. And once you don't do it, you're being irrational. That is why people like us who do not follow that kind of societal rational method, we are called non-conformist. We are called irrational. We are called stubborn. We are given all the names that are actually with negative connotation because we do not match along with those societal norms and structures and everything. So the question is, as you say, about rational. What is rational?
Exactly.
Where do you get your notion of rationality from?
And even if we could define it, how valuable, how useful, how necessary is it to follow only what is rational? Because as humans, we are made up of there are temperaments and emotions. There are certain things we like, certain things we don't like, and for no particular reason. We can't articulate the reason. Sometimes we have a bad day, sometimes we are in a bad mood, and that colors or that affects the way we behave, the way we talk. We are very complex.
Yes, humans are very complex.
We are very complex.
When you say, it depends on what. For example, when I lost my son, we used a lot of disposable plates around the house. It took me years to be able to look at a disposable plate and use it without being anxious or terrified, or the memory of losing that child came on. So for me, somebody might think, oh, it's irrational that I was reacting that way. But for me, that was a rational way of acting, because it was part of the experience for that time. So it is very, if we think that human beings must think in a particular way in order to get to a particular resolution of your problem, then we are
we are being unrealistic.
We are being unnatural.
That's the thing. And I use the word unrealistic precisely because we cannot be subjected to the way we do things, how we do things, why we do things is not always a matter of rules that we follow.
No.
Yeah.
You see, my reaction to disposable plates was my attachment to the event.
Yes.
My attachment to that event. It wasn't any rule from anywhere, but this is my attachment to the event. So we should also be very conscious about our attachment to events and how they affect the way we behave. So it's the human nature is pretty complex.
It is.
But the best way for me, the best way to really deal with your humanity is just to be introspective. Always go inside within you and look for what is going on. If I see A and I don't like A, there is something. The problem is coming from me, not from A. Most of the time. Because you have had no interaction with A, but you don't like A. Maybe there is something about the color of the dress A is wearing that it's a little bit offensive to you, but A is happy in that dress, and you're there mulling over something that somebody is doing that has nothing to do with you. So it is most often what we do is actually coming from inside. You see somebody keep telling people, oh, you are disgusting, you are nasty, you are this. Actually, the person using all of those words to describe people is actually the one dealing with all the nastiness inside of them. But they project it to other people.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's
so
like,
it is.
Exactly. It's like you can show two people this object. Some will see it as half full, some will see it as half empty. And it's really a testimony, a comment about who they are.
It's about who they are.
The one who is negative, the one who has negative view of life will say it's half empty. But then there's somebody who has a more positive view of life, they will say it's half full.
So.
This is a simple example to underscore what we have just said. I know there were other issues that were raised there, and I must confess I didn't manage to catch all of them. I don't think I was terribly attentive to everything that was said there.
No, but we touched on the major things about men not showing emotions and being a role model in society.
Being a role model.
We talked about. Those were the main topics. Though they talked about nutrition.
They did.
They talked about nutrition, and it was a very good presentation on nutrition. Now I know everything that says do not eat does not make any sense to me. It's what says must say eat this. Because usually when the do not is not there, it means that it is positive. So don't go looking for do not eat this and be dieting over crazy things that you should not eat. Look for the things that you should eat.
And one thing that they said, one thing on the screen that came out for me very strongly, the corporations don't care about your health.
No, they don't. They
just care about your money.
Oh yeah, sure.
That was powerful. And the presentation made it so graphic and so pointed.
You see, you and I are Africans. There was a time when they said nobody should take palm oil. Palm oil is the worst thing. It gives high cholesterol. Guess what? Go now to the GMC stores. They're selling palm oil on prescription. You have to take a teaspoon of palm oil or it's a tablespoon of palm oil a day or something like that. The same thing that we have. We don't have, Africa does not have food. It don't have. Now they are making bitter leaf tablets. Why should I not eat my fresh bitter leaf and then I go and buy a bitter leaf tablet somewhere in a GMC health store? What has that person put in all of that processing and drying it up and packaging up in a capsule? What is in there for me when everything has been taken out of it? And I have fresh bitter leaf. They don't want me to eat my fresh bitter leaf.
Wow.
So those people don't care about it. It's just about marketing. Market research is market research. You should know the difference.
So I guess that captures a little bit of what we came out with, you know, what people say takeaways, you know, from that gathering. And I hope next year, if they do it again, you know, I'll let you, and probably you will want to attend again.
I would definitely like to attend. It was a very good experience.
It was a good experience.
For me as a woman sitting there and watching men talking about what culturally men are not supposed to talk about, for me was really amazing, and I appreciated the men who came up and they opened up about their lives, and you know, it like, you might think that you will never cry, but bringing up this topic today meant that there was something in that message that settled in your heart. It might take time to blossom, but I believe you will get there.
Oh, I also think people listening to us might be provoked to make comments, and would love to hear those comments.
Oh no, definitely, yes.
Yeah. Again, as we say, we are not experts on anything. We just want to talk, and we are not afraid to say, you know how we feel, to say what we feel, what we know, what we understand, even what we don't understand. We don't rehearse these conversations.
No, we don't. And you know, before, like, one thing I think about is, too often men say they think women don't care about them when they cry. It's really not caring about them. It's also confusing.
Okay.
It's also confusing what to do, as I said earlier. But if you and your sister, your mother, your wife, your brother, you are going through the journey of introspection and accepting to change how you see your perception of each other, it will be okay for you to cry, and the other person would understand why you are crying. Yes, but if both of you are not on the path of change, you might cry, and the other person will still be stuck in that, like, I don't know what to do with this person. So it is important that while you're going through change, it doesn't mean you don't have to force anybody to go through change, but remember, it's a personal journey for you. So don't expect reciprocal reaction or some reward from the other person, because unless the other partner is on the same path as you, they will still not even understand why you're crying. Yes, so it is important.
That's why we need to think of both sides.
Yes, we think of
just
both
like
sides.
You do.
Yes, we think of both sides. Yes.
And I think your next book is going to really open a lot of windows.
Hopefully,
for that kind of thinking to happen.
Yes, that's my hope, that both men and women should be able to see each other differently, and stop the bias and unnecessary antagonization of each other over things that do not really mean anything.
The separation, the alienation,
subjugation,
to break that wall.
domination, whatever.
We need to break that wall.
We need to break the wall. And that wall is all within us. It's not out there. It doesn't matter how they change the laws. How many laws are changed? There are so many laws against rape. But we still have rape going on, which means it's a function of the mind. If the mind does not see rape as wrong, they will still do it. It doesn't matter how. The law will not prevent an unchanged mind, an unwilling mind to commit the crime. So it's all within us and upstairs.
So maybe we can stop here.
Yes, this was a long one.
This was a very, very long one. Very long one. I hope we'll have another day to pick up some of these issues after we have thought a bit more about them. We could come up with different conversation. Or we could reinforce some of the things we have just said here.
Viewers might suggest something
some things. They might raise questions or challenges. And then we'll have to come back again, come back to talk about them. That's it for today, and thank you for watching. We wish you all the best.